everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Thursday, June the 27th. It's race number 8 at Belmont at the Big A. Let's take a look at this field. Fillies and mares. First level allowance going 1 1/8 miles on the turf. 8 entered in the body of the race. The 9 peak popularity is entered main track only. And the story of the race is whether the 7 Eternal Silence will appreciate the big class drop for Christophe Clement. First off the layoff, she drops out of a live edition of the Grade 3 Valley View.
Yeah, very tough running of that Valley View the last time we saw her, Dan. And she actually ran pretty well in there. She didn't get a great trip, but actually did some running, came over, I guess, with a little bit of buzz about her from Europe. So we'll see, she's ready off the layoff, and we'll see if she can take a step forward.
Now, she did begin her career in Europe. Many times those horses are not quickest out of the gate. Curious to see if she'll show some fresh speed off the layoff. We'll see where Timeform US has her on our pace projector, and they have her near the back of the pack. She does have the LP flag, which indicates she has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. Collaboration is another horse returning off of the layoff. She's got more tactical speed. Maybe she could make the lead by default, Mike, although I wonder if in time the 4 will show a little bit of speed as well.
That's possible. I did sort of feel like if the 6, if Collaboration, if they want the lead, they can probably have it. And I'll just, you don't know what's going to happen with Eternal Silence, the 7, Dan. I'm going to suggest that she won't be last. Obviously, she's got to get out of the gate in this race, but when you watch her other races, she gets pretty pulley in her race. She doesn't really want to sit. I wonder if Rosario, if he gets her out of the gate this time, I wonder if he lets her go forward and gets right up close.
And she's stretching out for the first time 1 1/8 miles as well. I would expect her to be a little bit more forwardly placed as well. Chad Brown has a couple in here, including the filly on the inside. That's the one Olagata, who just missed 2 and 3 starts back. 1 on the synth, 1 on the turf at Gulfstream. A little bit disappointing last time out as the favorite, Mike, at Churchill Downs. The runner-up did come back to place in a similar spot with a 78 Beyer speed figure, but this filly's burned some money in her career.
She has, and she was really bad last time. Yeah, I have to wonder what happened in that race. It's been 2 months, so maybe there's just some kind of little issue. Now Chad gets her back. Boy, she's still hard to like off of her prior 3 efforts, though, Dan. I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't see the excuses for her, particularly the race at Keeneland at the end of last year, man. She got right there and could not get by. And the same thing 2 starts back. I don't know how she didn't win that race, but she just wasn't good enough.
Another horse with good tactical speed is the number 2, Any Port. This horse was a winner 2 starts back with a $40,000 claiming option at Tampa Bay. Let's take a look at this one's most recent race. And Any Port is down towards the inside. Pretty good trip, although she was wired, Mike, in a slow-paced race. She might have gotten the second best trip. She ended up second best. The winner got loose, and she's pretty sharp. She came back to win again with an 83 Beyer.
Yeah, I'm with you. She's just second best in this race. The trip is there for her. She barely holds second in this race, Dan. I don't know. I didn't think it was a great performance. She won 2 starts back, but she made pretty hard work of it against a much weaker field than this one. It feels like they found a tough spot for her.
The other Brown train entrant is the 3, Sacred Image. This one was a debut winner at Tampa Bay. Pretty striking late run that day, but to be honest, she's just disappointed. In her 2 starts against winners, she's the kind of filly that could use some pace help, steps up to face older horses for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if she does, but I think it's more a question of when she sort of puts it all together. I think the talent's in there. She just hasn't looked like she's really clued in her 3 starts so far. And listen, she was disappointing last time. Pretty sure that was a race of the day that we did, and I really liked her in that spot. I thought that she would run well, and she did not. But I feel like there's something there with her. If the light bulb finally goes off, and this is the kind of distance I think she wants, I think you're going to see a big late run out of this filly.
The 4 In Time, like her stablemate, the 7 Eternal Silence, began her career overseas. She won a couple of races in France, including one at 1 1/8 miles. She seems very comfortable at this distance. First start for Clement, she showed speed. She seemed very eager in the early part of that race. I'm willing to give her that one. Last time out, I'm curious as to your thoughts, because again, I thought the trip was there for her. It was a pretty decent spot. That runner-up's come back to do some good things, recently winning the Grade 3 Eatontown with a 94 Beyer.
Yeah, I just think she's been terrible in her 2 starts over here. I don't really know what to say. I mean, they tried her in some group races over there, and it didn't work out. And when they got her over here, then I thought she was terrible in her stateside debut. I know it was off a layoff, and they put her on the front, and maybe she just needed that race. But she was bad in there. And then I just thought she got a perfect trip last time, and she never made a run at it. She didn't do anything in that race.
Self-confidence, the number 5, going out for Shug McGahee. This is a Phipps homebred daughter of Into Mischief, and she finally put it all together. Second time blinkers, 7th lifetime start to graduate in this race at Monmouth Park, going a mile and a 16th. And it's not like this pace is hot. They went almost 52 seconds to the half, and she still has some work to do. Once she changes leads, though, she kicks it in nicely, and she gets there.
Yeah, you're right to point out that the pace was slow. Man, this is a grind in this race. I don't know. Maybe it's just because the pace was so slow, but it just looks like a bad race to me. And it's like, obviously she didn't get much of a figure for it. I didn't like her other turf races all that much, particularly. I'm just not sure how good she is, Dan. It is, listen, it's Shug with a Phipps homebred. You just sort of feel like they find their way and they just keep getting better. She better take a pretty big step forward, though, against this field.
She beat a couple of next out winners in that race. Maybe extra distance will be her friend, but like you, I want to see a little bit more. The 6 is Collaboration. Now, we haven't seen Collaboration since the middle of October when she got through her second level New York bred condition in this race, going a mile during the Belmont at the Big A meet. Horse got loose on her, Mike, but Collaboration stayed really steady in second and finally runs this horse down. And once she does, she still has enough left in the tank to fend off the outside closing runner-up. She also beat 2 next out winners, but how big of a step up is this? Second level New York bred condition, first level open allowance.
I think it's a pretty big step up in class for her. That being said, I've always thought that she was pretty good, and I really appreciate her running style because she's so
Right.
handy. She's got plenty of speed. If they want to lead with it, with her, they'll have it. But she's handy enough to sit off another horses we just saw there. Listen, I liked her last performance a lot. I didn't think it was a great field, but I liked the way that she did it, and she's got other races that really interest me. I wonder what kind of price she'll be.
Eternal Silence is the number 7, and she earned a grade 1 placing as a 2-year-old in Ireland as a third out maiden in only in that Moyglare Stud Stakes, going 7/8 of a mile. She was kind of an in and outer last year, I thought, Mike. She ran in some tough spots, but then when they dropped her into a maiden the first time at Leopardstown, she got beat at a short price. In her first start at Keeneland in North America, it just didn't work out. Listen, the trip wasn't there. She faced 4 next out winners. Surge Capacity came back to win the Matriarch with a 96 buyer. Something tells me she's going to come back at 4, bigger and stronger. You like her at this extra distance.
Yeah.
I'm a little dubious.
Yeah, I to me, and we'll see. I mean, she is a war front, so I guess you never know. But she's the damn side is just all distance, and she kind of looks that way when you see her. She looks like a pretty big, strong filly. So I think she's going to get better with more distance. And I actually felt like she ran deceptively well in the Valley View. That trip, you've already said the trip wasn't there. She broke bad. She was really hard to handle. She blew the first turn, and then her rider just sort of tried. I mean, he fought her up the backstretch. He finally got her to settle. And then he didn't really go with a run for her until the stretches. She wasn't winning at that point, but she made ground. She passed horses against a good field. I don't know. I think she has some talent. And if she's ready off the layup, I think she's going to be tough in here.
Completing the field is the 8. That's Parish Lane. This is a beautifully bred 3-year-old. She's a daughter of Justify. Maybe she was compromised a bit by a slow pace last time out at Delaware. Again, they went 49-4 to the half. She was giving ground on the outside. She was only beaten a length. I just really wish I liked that field more. I know there were a couple of next out winners. This just looks like a tougher spot.
I'm with you on that. I'm still surprised she didn't win last time. I thought she was almost a cinch in there at 6-1, and I lost a bunch of money on that race. But I don't know. She still ran okay, Dan. Her first 2 starts are both better than they look on paper. There's something there with this horse. I'm with you. This is a tough spot for her, but I'm using her. I'm not convinced that she's overmatched by these horses, and I think she's better than she looks on paper.
Peak popularity, the 9 is main track only, and if this race happens to be washed off, is a very logical contender. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top picks. Thursday DRF race of the day, race number 8, Belmont at the Big A. You're going with Eternal Silence. She's the horse to beat based on her last race at Keeneland and some of the things she did overseas.
Just think she's going to run really well in this spot. We'll see what happens off the layoff. The other 2 horses for me were the 3 and the 8. I think they're both pretty good, Dan. I could have put either one of them on top. I'll be interested to see how they bet this race, though.
It is a big step up in class for Collaboration, but I do wonder if she has a slight pace edge in here, whether she gets to the lead or if she sits second. Mile and an eighth, a little bit of a question mark, especially off such of a lengthy layoff. I'll just trust Linda Rice. I expect Eternal Silence to be the favorite. Maybe Collaboration drifts a bit. 7-3-8-1 for Mike, 6-7-8-4 for me. It's the Thursday DRF race of the day, the 8th, Belmont at the Big A. Best of luck.